Not a fireside chat here, but this one's just a quickie. It's sort of, it never ceases to amaze me, you know. People's misunderstanding of basic economics. There's sort of like, they sort of put the word money on a pedestal when all essentially it is just like a whole bunch of paper vouchers. And, you know, to really truly understand money, you've got to understand. Yes, they are paper vouchers, essentially. Yes, you can get things with them, but think of them as paper vouchers, and you'll take away that sort of stigma, that sort of stereotype, that sort of reputation, vibe that they have, that money per se has. And you can take all that away by thinking of money not so much as what you refer to money now, but as paper vouchers that can be, you know, added up by the numbers that are written on them. And you'll start to understand money a bit better. Originally, money, before the existence of coins with silver and gold in them, the earliest money, so to speak, that's been found is basically clay tablets, like promissory notes, which little clay tablet states on it that by exchanging this tablet you may receive a certain amount of gold. They're around 340-something BC that these clay tablets were discovered. But of course, as I've mentioned in other videos, $1 back then, $1 in the 1800s in America is not what it is today. But I've been watching a bit of other stuff on YouTube, people ranting about minimum wages, you know, and you're complicating stuff by saying that if the minimum wage goes up, then they'll only be able to employ less workers, you know, and they should just give the minimum wage. Look, business and money have got a couple of things in common, and they're big things, and the stock exchange also has it in common. That is confidence that the stock's worth something, confidence that it's worth investing in this equipment, confidence that you know, this dollar in your hand is actually going to be able to buy something, and voluntary participation. If everybody decided one day, nah, shares aren't worth bothering with, they're just a heap of paper, the share market would collapse. If people just decided one day that this paper money is not worth anything and we don't really hold it in high regard anymore, then the currency collapses. And that's, you know, when inflation's really dramatic, yes, people don't have confidence in it anymore and it collapses. And the other one is, you know, it's voluntary participation in business. You can't force your boss to do a certain thing like raise the minimum wage and pay you more. And everybody's going, no, they just got to pay it. All these liberals and all that are there. They just got to fork out. And I'll admit, you know, $7.25 an hour, that's bloody crap. In Australia, it's like $15.65 or something like that, and they're trying to push it higher. It was $15.50, now I think it's $15.65, and now they're trying to push it higher. And, you know, it's a crap minimum wage you got. But remember, you can't force them to give you more money, because there's a little thing that's over the other side of the world with a whole bunch of former farming peasants under communist rule, you know, and they just pack up and leave. And this idea that we can force our boss to do this, to do that, to do something or other else, pay more money, is crap, because the boss may decide that he does not want to voluntarily participate in paying high wages. So he just goes to China. What other people don't seem to quite ever get is that there are competitors, such as Walmart, who are already getting stuff made in China, or they buy it in China from wholesalers, direct from the factory, and bring it over to America. And this American businessman, this American boss, has to compete with that crap. And he's doing it with workers that are quite a lot more expensive. And, there's just this notion amongst some of these liberals and leftists, for those Australian viewers, by liberals I mean left-wing socialist types, because over in Australia, a liberal is actually a political party that's conservative. There's that to scramble your brain. They call them the liberals and they're conservative. Yeah, strange. That's Australia for you. Anyway, these socialist types that want to force bosses to do stuff never seem to realise that it's only voluntary participation, that they're still even in America. And they're competing against Chinese, or basically people who bring in Chinese products. And years ago, in the 80s, it was all Mexico. Everybody would just walk out of the US and go and make a factory in Mexico. And now, they can go and make a factory in China instead. Or both, as some companies have. But, they never seem to understand that under this capitalistic system, it's voluntary participation. It's not, we can force them in a corner, we can pander them up however we want to, they'll just walk out and then you'll have nothing. And I know of someone who was in a job, who now works where I work, and they used to work only not very far down the road, only walking distance down the road. Anyway, the union pushed too hard, and then the union didn't hear anything from the company, so they went to the media and said, oh, we don't know what's going on, we want to negotiate, we're all on strike, we want to negotiate a better wage deal though, and we haven't heard anything from the company. So then the television station went and contacted the company directly. And you know what the company said? We've only been breaking even for the last 6 months. And by the way, in the 2 weeks that you guys have been on strike, we've lost more than a third, I think it was actually more than a half of their customers, maybe even 2/3, quite a significant amount of customers had decided to throw the towel in and go get their product from someone else. And they just said on TV, well, that's it, I suppose, of the decision's been made anyways. I mean, we weren't going very good anyway, but, now you've gone on strike, now we've lost most of our customers and we're flattened. And they then stood there and basically declared that they were going to go into receivership. That's what unions can do for you, and that isn't the only company. There's other ones I can name that have had the same thing happen or gone down the same path when the unions have pushed too hard. But, once again, it's voluntary participation, just as what keeps the value of money up, and just as what keeps the value of the stock exchange up. Confidence and voluntary participation. And many of these people, I'll look around at them and they're squabbling over this crap, and I feel like going, wake up, you're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, and it's a sad fact. We got all this heaps of cheap Chinese stuff. Hell, half my house is full of cheap Chinese stuff. And in the process, all the jobs walked out the door. In Australia, we're selling raw materials to them, iron ore, gas and coal, and that's sort of keeping us going a bit. But, in the States, my gosh, you're so worse off than what we are right now.